I ended the last story with this image of a wooden cross on the ground. Some of you might have guessed. I lost one of the chickens a couple of days prior to the fourth story's release. Remember the fight between the two roosters I show in the second story? The silky rooster who got driven off and became subordinate, or the number 2 rooster, he was the one who died, and I buried him underneath a persimmon tree near the chicken coop. About a week prior to his death, I noticed something wrong with the rooster. His movements had slowed noticeably. As you can see in this clip, he, standing on the far right, was almost motionless. It's a sign of being sick. I thought he would recover sooner or later because I've never lost a rooster to a disease before. I've always thought that roosters are strong and seldom become victims to disease. Unfortunately, he failed to hold on. It was sad. I couldn't do anything on that day I buried him. The thing that really stuck with me about his death was the one hen, along with her baby chick, who stood by the sick rooster during his convalescence. She occasionally poked him gently, seeming to whisper, "Hang in there." It was such a moving scene. Witnessing this, I cannot agree with the suggestion that chickens don't have empathy or the ability to share other chickens' feelings. Now let me share with you a not so touching story. You see the dominating rooster chasing the sick rooster off. I don't know why he did that, but he did it numerous times. A theory goes that chickens often harass the weak or the sick because sick chickens become easy targets for predators. In other words, they try to get rid of weak one expeditiously for the general safety or the welfare of the flock. Doesn't that sound familiar? Is that a phenomenon limited only to the supposedly uncivilized beasts such as the chicken? Unfortunately, it is not. We humans do that too. The worst example in history can be found in the reign of the Nazis under Adolf Hitler. The Nazis considered the Germanic peoples the master race, the purest branch of Aryan. They believed that anyone who would stand in the way must be eliminated. It was not just 6 million Jews who were slaughtered in the Holocaust. Millions of others deemed undesirable were victims of the Nazis' genocide, including liberals, socialists, communists, Romanian people, homosexuals, the disabled, and many more. The New Deal, first enacted by U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt during the Great Depression, has become a model policy which many leaders around the world have tried to emulate during this pandemic crisis. Many forget, however, Roosevelt's revolutionary efforts to include blacks and Native Americans as well as refugees, the disabled, and many more who had long been neglected, oppressed, and marginalized in American society. Roosevelt said, "We are going to make a country in which no one is left out." What a contrast. That was the exact opposite of what Adolf Hitler did in Germany around the same time. The COVID-19 pandemic has reshaped the debates on the qualities of good leaders. Resilience, communication skills, openness, and impulse control remain near the top of this list, as they always have. But there's one quality that has reasserted its great value during these pandemic days: empathy. There are leaders who show concern over infection and death rates, as well as the virus' economic impact, with its dire implications for their poll numbers. We rarely see, however, the leaders who show genuine sorrow for victims of the pandemic. One of my favorite lines in the Bible is Jesus wept. It's a description of Jesus' sorrow over the deaths of Nazareth of Bethany. It was the shortest verse in the Bible. I don't know any theological background behind this account, but I do know this shortest verse provides a powerful, enduring resonance what kind of leadership we want in the current crisis of the pandemic.